Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing. Today we're going to continue to read The Golden Age by Kenneth Grahame. And I hope you're all doing well. So, let's continue. Now most boys would have suspected chaff under this courtly style of address. I take infinite credit to myself for recognizing at once the natural attitude of a man to whom his fellows were gentlemen all, neither Jew nor genteel, clean or unclean. Of course I took the blame on myself, adding that I was very absent-minded too, which was indeed the case. I perceive, he said pleasantly, that we have something in common. I, an old man, dream dreams. You, a young one, see visions. Your lot is the happier, and now, his hand had been resting all this time on a wicket gate, you are hot, it is easily seen. The day is advanced. Virgo is zodiacal. I should know this word. Virgo is the zodiacal sign. Sorry. Perhaps I may offer you some poor refreshment, if your engagements will permit. My only engagement that afternoon was an arithmetic lesson, and I had not intended to keep it in any case. So I passed in, while he held the gate open politely, murmuring, "Venit hesperus ite capelle." Come, little kid. And then apologizing abjectly for a familiarity which, he said, was less his than the Roman poets. A straight flagged walk led up to the cool-looking old house, and my host, lingering in his progress at this rose tree and that, forgot all about me at least twice, waking up and apologizing humbly after each lapse. During these intervals I put two and two together, and identified him as the rector, a bachelor, eccentric, learned exceedingly, round whom the crust of legend was already beginning to form. To myself an object of special awe, in that he was alleged to have written a real book. Heaps of books, Martha, my informant, said, but I knew the exact rate of discount applicable to Martha's statements. We passed eventually through a dark hall into a room which struck me at once as the ideal I had dreamed but failed to find. None of your feminine fripperies here. None of your chairbacks and tidies. This man, it was seen, groaned under no ants. Stout volumes in calf and vellum lined three sides. Books sprawled or hunched themselves on chairs and tables. Books diffused the pleasant odour of printer's ink and bindings, topping all a faint aroma of tobacco cheered and heartened exceedingly, as under foreign skies the flap and rustle over the wayfarer's head of the Union Jack, the old flag of emancipation, and in one corner, book-piled like the rest of the furniture, stood a piano. This I hailed with a squeal of delight. "Want to strum?" inquired my friend, as if it was the most natural wish in the world. His eyes were already straying towards another corner, where bits of writing table peeped out from under a sort of alpine system of book and foolscap. "Oh, but may I?" I asked in doubt. "At home I'm not allowed to. Only beastly exercises." "Well, you can strum here at all events," he replied, and murmuring absently, "Age, Dic Latinum Barbite Carmen," he made his way, mechanically guided as it seemed, to the irresistible writingable. I think I should say writing table. In 10 seconds he was out of sight and call. A great book open on his knee, another propped up in front, a score or so disposed within easy reach. He read and jotted with an absorption almost passionate. I might have been in Boeotia, for any consciousness he had of me. So with a light heart I turned to and strummed. Those who painfully and with bleeding feet have scaled the crags of mastery over musical instruments have yet their loss in this, that the wild joy of strumming has become a vanished sense. Their happiness comes from the concord and the relative value of the notes they handle. The pure absolute quality and nature of each note in itself are only appreciated by the strummer, for some notes have all the sea in them, and some cathedral bells. Others are woodland joyance and a smell of greenery. In some fauns dance to the merry reed, and even the grave centaurs peep out from their caves. Some bring moonlight, and some the deep crimson of a rose's heart. Some are blue, some red, and others will tell of an army with silken standards and march music. And throughout all the sequence of suggestion, up above the little white men leap and peep, and strive against the imprisoning wires, and all the big rosewood box hums as it were full of hiving bees. Spent with rapture, I paused a moment and caught my friend's eye over the edge of a folio. But as for these Germans, he began abruptly, as if we had been in the middle of a discussion, the scholarship is there, I grant you, but the spark, the fine perception, the happy intuition, where is it? They get it all from us. They get nothing whatever from us, I said, decidedly, the word German only suggesting bands, to which Aunt Eliza was bitterly hostile. You think not? He rejoined doubtfully, getting up and walking about the room. Well, I applaud such fairness and temperance in so young a critic. They are qualities in youth, as rare as they are pleasing. But just look at Schrumpfius, for instance, how he struggles and wrestles with a simple Greek gar in this very passage here. I peeped fearfully through the open door, half dreading to see some sinuous and snark-like conflict in progress on the mat. But all was still. I saw no trouble at all in the passage, and I said so. Precisely, he cried, delighted. To you who possess the natural scholar's faculty in so happy a degree, there is no difficulty at all. But to this Schrumpfius, but here, luckily for me, in came the housekeeper, a clean-looking woman of staid aspect. Your tea is in the garden, she said, as if she were correcting a faulty emendation. I've put some cakes and things for the little gentleman, and you'd better drink it before it gets cold. He waved her off and continued his stride, brandishing an aorist over my devoted head. The housekeeper waited unmoved till there fell a moment's break in his descant, and then, you'd better drink it before it gets cold, she observed again, impassively. The wretched man cast a deprecating look at me. Perhaps a little tea would be rather nice, he observed feebly, and to my great relief he led the way to the garden. I looked about for the little gentleman, but, failing to discover him, I concluded he was absent-minded too, and attacked the cakes and things with no misgivings. After a most successful and most learned tea, a something happened which, small as I was, never quite shook itself out of my memory. And with that, I'm not quite going to have enough time for the final page, just because of what time it is now. Indeed. Unfortunately, I've been really quite tired today as well. And I'm not really sure why. Oh, pardon me. But never mind. That is the way these things go. Excuse me. Something caught in my throat there. But anyway, that is going to be the end of the episode, pretty much. So, without much further ado, I am going to say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night, no matter what time of day it is. I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.